Y'all, welcome to Travelers Guides to Venus and Mars. It's a
Your home for information about the impact of the
coronavirus. And amongst many things that's difficult about this virus is that it's
devastating. They're really heartbreaking stories of people who have.
There isn't anyone that isn't impacted.
Shutting our schools down, including all athletic programs.
Your first-hand accounts.
I did take the test, and I found out that I was positive.
A lot of people who know me, I'm still the first person they know.
But it was almost like you were patient zero for South Seattle. Your stories of community coming together.
Partner very heavily with Tacoma Urban League, who is doing some amazing work in response.
We're doing things for small businesses. We're giving out loans for small businesses.
And so I think it's very important that we have leaders who feel.
I cannot tell you we're calling 20, 30, 40 minutes.
This crisis in our community, we've been working to address it.
Rainier Avenue Radio, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a month. DJ Dirty John.
Karen Z with Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hey, this is Sergio Cool. Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Rainier Avenue Radio.world. We got you covered. Local impact, global presence.
Broadcast. Welcome to Rainier Avenue Radio.world and our weekly coverage of the impact of communities. This is a continuation of our series. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us again here. And then again, now we are aware of the fact that we are and more folks listening to that.
Rainier Avenue Radio.world is your 24/7 digital media hub. Tune in at Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Also find us on Facebook, Twitter, and TuneIn apps.
Welcome to Rainier Avenue Radio. This is Afternoons with Monique, recording live in Seattle, Washington, every Thursday at 1 p.m.
Good afternoon, Seattle. This is Monique Lee from Rainier Avenue Radio on Afternoons with Monique. Today is our 50th episode. So I've covered this show for the last almost 1 year. So next week will be our anniversary episode with John Yasutake, who is a friend of mine who got me introduced to the station. Behind the scene, I want to acknowledge Dan Bells, Tony Benton, Karen Zamet, and other producer and contributors to make this show happen. Today, I have the pleasure of inviting my friend and a fellow community leader, Harold Taniguch, who I've known for a few years, and he was a former King County government director of transportation. He's currently retired and is serving the community in a different capacity as a senior vice president, head of public sector and transportation at D4DT, a digital transformation company. Please help me welcome to Afternoons with Monique, my friend, Mr. Taniguch.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. Am I doing something wrong on my end?
I just wonder about that. Dan, do you know what's going on there?
Good. I'm hearing a little bit of an echo wrong on my end.
I just wonder about that. Dan, do you know what's going on there? The host has unmuted your mic. Okay. All right. How about now? Is it better?
Sounds good now.
So something just happened, and I guess the station fixed it. So all good. All right. Is it better?
Sounds good now. Wow, I could still hear it.
I guess the station fixed it. So all good. All right. Wonder why that is. Is it still doing that now?
Delay, but let's just fight through it. I can just hear myself answer twice.
Wow. Yeah, we'll figure that one out. So, let's
just fight through it.
Wow. Here I go. Yeah, we'll figure that one out. So, man, help. Dan is our producer behind the scene, and he's the engineer that fix all these technical issues. You got a headphones, Harold? He asked. Dan is our producer behind the scene, and he's the engineer that fix all these. Do you have a headphone on?
I don't have it with me.
You got a headphones, Harold?
That's okay. Let's just keep going.
Okay. If you have a headphone and you plug it into your computer and put it on in your ear, it might eliminate that.
That's okay. Let's just keep going.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a headphone over here if I need it. One of these. Okay. Hopefully that will eliminate some of the issues.
Okay.
Okay. So, as a standard of my show, I always like to let the audience know a little bit about my guest, your background, where you're from, where you were born, before you get to all the important position that you held in your career. So tell us a little bit about, where you were born and where you went to school, a little bit of family background.
Yeah, sure. So I'm born and raised in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And I probably end my life in this area. I love it so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I went to Bailey Gatcher Elementary School. It's not there anymore. Asa Mercer Junior High School, and then Franklin High School.
Oh.
And it's funny because my whole professional career is pretty much in the International District area.
Yeah.
Because I worked for King County for so long, and my office was then in the Pioneer Square area of the last couple of decades. And it's just funny that I was raised, went to school, and worked professionally, probably in a 4-mile square area. So I didn't get around very much.
Outside of traveling, I guess. I'm one of those people. I like to stay put, build roots, and I've been here for over 30 years myself. So I get, the appeal of the region too. There's so much to do and see and learn and grow in this community.
Yes, it's a beautiful area. The Seattle Pacific Northwest is top notch in my opinion.
Yeah, we're blessed. So did you go to the UW, you say, for school?
I went to college down in Southern California, Pomona College, and then graduated and came back up to Seattle, and eventually went to the University of Washington School. At the time, it was called the Graduate School of Public Affairs. I studied to be a government bureaucrat, so to speak.
And did you succeed, you think?
I had a nice, wonderful career in government. Yes, a long time. 35 years.
Yeah,
it's funny. The internship that I had as part of the graduate school program was with King County in the then executive office of Randy Revelle. So that was the first day I started with the county, and I had been there ever since for a very long time.
Yeah, 35 years I read. So yeah, let's roll the tape back a little bit. So your name is Japanese. So what generation Japanese American are you?
Oh, yes. I'm a third generation Japanese. My grandparents on both my mother and my father's side were born and raised in Japan and then came over. And then so my mother was born in Tacoma, Washington, and my father was born in Hilo, Hawaii. So that makes me the third generation Japanese. Yeah.
Right. And you went to all the local, elementary and high school. I mean, Gary Locke went to the same high school as you. You did.
Yes.
A little bit ahead of you, right?
Yes, and there are quite a few notable people that have gone to Franklin High School, and I hope to get my name on that list one day.
Right. I think last month we had our city council president or ex-city council president, what's his name? Bruce Harrell on my show, also a fellow Franklin High alumni.
I think he went to Garfield.
Oh, did he?
I'm pretty sure Bruce went to Garfield. Yes.
You might be right. That does sound about right. Okay.
Yeah.
My mistake. All right. So so you study to be now. How big is your family? Do you have a lot of siblings?
Yes, I have. Well, not a large family. I have 2 brothers and a sister, and unfortunately, my sister passed away a few years back, so we're a little smaller. My mom's still around. My dad passed away. Yeah.
Yeah. Just very quickly, what did your parents do while you were growing up?
Yeah, interesting. My parents operated the Publix Hotel, which is located in the International District. They managed the place, and so as a little kid, I hung out with a lot of retired railroad workers who used to live there.
Okay.
I attribute that to be why I'm very comfortable dealing with people who are elderly, or in some cases have some impairments. And that was my upbringing. So I went to Beta Gatcher and hung out where my parents' hotel was operated. And again, then I ended up working just 2 blocks away
I know.
for decades. It's just weird.
Yeah, well, I did not know all of this history. So this is very fascinating to me. So then now you went on and worked for King County at first. What did you do? How did you get from, the graduate school to King County work, and then moved through the rank to become the director, basically the top position of the transportation department for King County?
Well, I started as I mentioned, as an intern in the exec's office, and I had wonderful access from day one to top level department heads as they reported to the executive's office. And then I moved to the budget office, and then to the solid waste division, and into the roads division, and eventually in higher and higher levels of responsibility. And then I was fortunate enough to be selected to be a division manager, and then ultimately a department deputy director, then a department director. I just had a whole lot of people that were wonderfully supporting me along the way in my career.
Right. And that's probably the reason why I invited you on the show, because you are basically, King County, and people, and you are in position to support and mentor many young people coming up, learning how to support our community. So this is a great time to showcase all your wisdom, and hopefully some people will seek you out and help our community grow and prosper. So I want to thank you first for coming on the show.
I would love. I think that's important. If anybody wants to follow with me about anything involving my career or the wonderful mistakes that I've made or whatever like that, I'm more than willing to do that. I love that opportunity.
Sure. So I jokingly said to you at one point when we met years ago, okay, what is up with this King County and Seattle gridlock, right? Our region is becoming increasingly gridlocked over the last 10 years. No thanks to Amazon, Microsoft, people coming over here and bring a lot of growth and opportunities. But at the same time, it creates a lot of bottlenecks, especially the downtown maze grid. And I jokingly say, okay, so what are we doing about this, Harold? And then, you laugh, but, I think that your seniority and your experience with King County, I'd like to know a little bit about your role in that transportation department and what you've learned about it, if I may. That's my first question.
Well, the issue with the challenge with the Northwest, the Seattle area, is that it's very popular, and we received huge increases in population over the last few decades. The climate being mild, the beautiful scenery, access to outdoor recreation makes it just a great place for people to live and work. And we saw a lot of people coming in. Another challenge associated with the beauty, the hills and the water, is that we have some not a natural grid where transportation works easily. We have to get over water. You have to go around water. And so that makes it a little bit more restrictive. And then we're also, they say a lot, they bring up this a lot. Decades ago, we had an opportunity to fund light rail, and the city back in I think it was in the 60s, decided not to do it. And so we're trying to catch up on the mass transportation side of the equation. So the city of Seattle, King County, Sound Transit, all the other cities try and work very closely together to coordinate traffic improvements, road expansions, and public transportation service. It's a big challenge, but I think the coordination is way better than it used to be and continues to improve.
Right. with the pandemic, I noticed there was a drop in traffic problem, but now we are opening up, and I see a lot of the gridlock starting again. So hopefully, I would like to see some light rail probably gonna help. Going up to Everett now, heading toward Linwood, I believe. So you retired from King County in 2018, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, right before the pandemic and all the issues hit. What are your thoughts right before the pandemic? Traffic was just horrendous. And, I was like, Harold's not doing what he's supposed to be.
Well, it's an interesting thing. I guess if there's such a thing as having good timing in terms of retiring, going at the end of 2018 and using 2019 to relax and do nothing, literally, and enjoy what retirement affords you to do. Let all the bad habits or good habits associated with what your job was melt away, and then you get a little better sense of who you are. And then the pandemic hit. I was doing some consulting work. And the pandemic hit, and because I was already set up as an independent worker, independent consultant, working a lot from home,
right?
That was not too bad for me. But talking to my buddies over at the county or that are still, it was a tough transition.
Yeah.
So I think I was very fortunate to be outside of that, working independently, mainly from home to begin with.
Okay. This is Monique Lee with Afternoons with Monique on Rainier Avenue Radio. And this is midpoint to the show. I have Harold Taniguch, a former King County transportation chair on my show today. He's already retired a couple of years ago and now working as a consultant, helping a startup. But I am asking him some questions about King County transportation as his long tenure at the King County Transportation Department. So in the role of director, Harold, what I know that you're the top guy, but you have to coordinate a lot underneath you with the city and other department key managers. And so I know that the region has a lot of issues and gridlock problems that they are trying to work on and overcome. Do you have any advice for the current group of I would say administration that manage the transportation department, how they can, you leverage and utilize your past experience to, continue to improve?
Oh my gosh, they don't want to talk to me anymore. That's pretty funny because they are so good at figuring stuff out right now. I mean, the challenges with transportation, the costs associated with it, the problems because of the older infrastructure that we see pop up, the increase in the population, the popularity of mass transit, public transportation, all those things are, they have a wonderful crowd of professionals in leadership positions right now taking that on.
Okay.
So what I can offer in my wonderful retirement perspective as far as transportation concerned is for them to keep at it. For them to just not give up, continue building the relationships with each other and cooperating, and we're all in this together.
Right. And now you are on to your next chapter in your life, which is the exciting startup. Can you tell us exactly what D4DT is about?
Oh, excuse me right there. So yes, I would love to talk about that right now. So we are a young company. D4DT is the name of our company, and we're a minority-owned firm. We are focused on database software, and just recently we merged with this other company, XTlytics, which really bolstered our capabilities. So we're really, really excited about that. In simple terms, we just pull data from lots of different sources. Many businesses pull information using different software programs, pull it together, put it in one database, and allow you to see it and their relationships, daylight that information, highlight the relationships in different ways. And we're really, really excited about that. The capabilities, I hate to be overly enthusiastic, but the capabilities that we have are kind of universal.
Yeah.
So what we are doing now is focusing on one area, and we've chosen the restaurant industry, something that's near and dear to a lot of us.
Right.
And the reason why we did that is the small and medium-sized businesses, I think, in the restaurant arena, and we're talking to a lot of people to continue to confirm this. Those folks did not start a business to manage spreadsheets or anything like that. They love the people side of it. And I think the service that we provide allows them to focus on that and take the challenge of managing their data differently, and so manage the data differently. So what we're doing now is reaching out to restaurants, knowing that the margins in that industry are tight, that the pandemic hit them particularly hard. So it feels good focusing on an industry that has been severely challenged. And our effort so far in our talking to people, understanding it as well as we possibly can, has been pretty strong. The feedback has been positive, so we will continue to connect with restaurant owners, talk about our plan, talk about the services that we can provide, reaching out to associations and all that to get the word out.
Now,
obviously looking for funding sources to keep the effort going.
Absolutely. A new startup, that's one of the key components for a startup success, obviously. Do you operate only in the Washington State region, nationwide?
No, that's one of the interesting things about it. I talked about earlier how my world in King County had been focused on like the international district, Pioneer Square area. We're national. In fact, several of the staff are located in Atlanta, and they're probably listening to this right now. Hello, team. And we have other people in New York, in Texas. So we're being very open in terms of reaching out. I'll be focusing on the Washington and the West Coast area. We have a member that's in Southern California. So it's not just localized to our area. We're very broad in terms of the outreach.
Wow. And when did you start joining this startup?
I became involved toward the end of last year. And so as a startup, we're just trying to continue to look at what we have and continue to focus on it. And so now we're feeling pretty good that this is an area that we think we could really make a positive difference. And about that funding thing, which again, as a startup, is no small issue. We will look for funding sources. We're open to partnerships, relationships, and we're also thinking very seriously about using crowdfunding, which allows an open access to anybody at varying levels of investments to participate. We're looking at that because we feel that this is something that I think the industry can use to help. Yes. And in fact, I got to tell you that my new title is Head of Community and Corporate Affairs, and it's because of our focus on that outreach, that focus on that building that sense of community. I'm pretty excited about that.
Well, you emceed and served as a keynote speaker for many community events, which I attended. So I know that you are connected to a lot of leaders and companies leaders and local public sector, both government and public sector leaders in the community. So that outreach to fundraise and get that crowdfunding effort probably could be very successful with you at the helm. So I can speculate that much.
Well, I think, having the relationships that we all do with other people, and then finding out ways to just keep each other updated about what's going on. And then maybe there's ways that we can work together. I mean, that's the fun part, just checking that out.
Absolutely. And you also provide consultant services to local governments as a consultant. Is that right?
Yes. While I'm not doing it right now, I'm kind of, very busy with D4DT. But yes, I work with the city of Kirkland a little bit. And they just needed some help with somebody that had a kind of like the experience. They had some folks moving into different positions. They just wanted someone to just kind of help out a little bit. So I was glad to do that.
Yeah. So crowdfunding, are you guys also looking at seed funding or Wall Street funding?
I think all of the above, but I think the intriguing thing about crowdfunding is, like you said, that building that sense of community. You know, I mean, if we are able to, which we think we will be, relate to a lot of the small and medium-sized restaurant owners, and also get the funding support to help us out coming from, you know, maybe even a lot of the folks within that industry. And the affordability of crowdfunding makes it even more attractive. That just feels like that building a sense of community is something that would make a lot of sense. So we're very seriously looking into that.
Now, there are a couple of places that you can put your company profile and its mission and its leadership board on, like Kickstarter, and I think there was another one by the name escaped me right now. Are you planning to put yourself up there so people can learn about the company?
Well, I'll have to talk to the team that's probably more thoughtful about stuff like that. But I think just in general, us trying to get the word out is part of the wonderful challenge associated with being young, and then continuing to work. I mean, I tell you, just the wonderful relationships that we have developed with just people talking. Everybody's been just wonderfully gracious with their time. It's pretty reassuring. It feels pretty good.
I looked up the board, and you guys have quite a few notable members of the Seattle and Washington State community helping out with this startup. It's
yes. I should mention that our CEO, Chris Ishii, a dear friend of mine, his background is in wealth management, for example. So he has the perspective and understanding and the connections in that arena. So it's pretty exciting to be able to have him guide us through this as well.
That sounds very exciting. So I have like about a minute to wrap up, and maintain your interest in the voice acting. I did not know you have the side. So ending it on a light, fun note, how did you get into voice acting?
Oh, I don't know. I guess when you talk as much as I do and talk as much as I do in public, you start to think that, well, maybe I can do something even different. So I took a voice acting class, and it was funner than heck. So I'll keep pursuing that and see if I can get my voice out there. We'll see what happens.
Right. Well, you gotta keep us updated if your voice is getting used in any of the fun, interesting, high-profile projects.
Yeah. Check out our D4DT website. Check out our D4DT website.
For sure. I actually looked it up, but folks, checked it out. And, any young members of the community wanting to learn about transportation, past government work that Mr. Taniguch or Harold here can offer, please contact him or contact the station, and I will reach out to him on your behalf and connect you too. All right. Well, that's our show, folks.
Thank you, already? Harold. Okay.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. And
thanks for having me, Monique. Thank you.
Always a pleasure.
Oh, it's good to see you.
Yeah, likewise. All right. Well, I'll see you again real soon.
Okay.
Okay. Bye. Okay. Next up, we have Shattering the Glass Ceiling, and next week I will have John Yasutake, my friend and host for Seattle Here and Now, coming on the 51st episode of Afternoons with Monique. So can't wait to see him. Join us next week on Thursday at 1 p.m. Have a good day, everyone. See ya.
Here with the Rainier Avenue Radio traffic update.